The U.S.-Mexican War was a clash between neighbors who were strangers, two republics born into separate worlds. One was a brash, rapidly expanding nation of 20 million, driven by democratic principles and transformed by new technologies.
The United States was oftentimes referred to as a go-ahead nation, in quotation marks, a go-ahead people, with the locomotive almost as a symbol. This is all part of this boundlessness, all part of this idea of no limits on what people can achieve.
Meanwhile, Mexico's 7.5 million people were living a very different experience, rooted in Spanish and native traditions handed down for centuries. Mexico City, capital of New Spain for 300 years and of the Aztec Empire before that, had always been the cultural and political heart of the nation. Here, a university, printing houses, hospitals, and theaters had flourished before the Pilgrims landed on the shores of Massachusetts Bay.
The United States was born modern. They are already under the influence of the Industrial Revolution, of a capitalist system. When Mexico takes shape after the Spanish conquest and the blending with indigenous peoples, it inherits medieval European institutions, or almost medieval, and a deep history of native traditions. For the United States, to be modern is an act of natural evolution. For Mexico, to become modern means tearing down its institutions, destroying its social system, and changing its way of thinking.
From 1810 to 1821, Mexico fought a successful but devastating war for independence from Spain. Some hoped to establish a political system inspired by the U.S. model. But the early years of the new republic were chaotic. The government was constantly undermined by generals fighting for power. In the 27 years between the revolution and the end of the war with the United States, Mexico would undergo 22 changes of administration.
At its core, the country was experiencing a terrible crisis because it had lost its sense of leadership and political control, and this made Mexico extremely vulnerable.
Fanny Calderón de la Barca, the Scottish wife of the Spanish minister to Mexico in the 1840s, described a country bound by the legacy of Spanish colonialism.
Here, everything reminds us of the past, of the conquering Spanish who seemed to build for eternity, impressing each work with their solid, grave and religious character, of the triumphs of Catholicism. It is the present that seems like a dream, a pale reflection of the past. All is decaying and growing fainter, and men seem trusting to some unknown future which they will never see. One revolution follows another, yet the remedy is not found. Still they dream on.
One of Mexico's greatest resources was land, almost 1.5 million square miles. But the 10-year struggle for independence had devastated the nation's economy and decimated its population. Mexico was left unable to colonize its distant northern provinces. And the borderlands lay directly in the path of a growing United States. The United States had grown by purchasing land from other nations. But when the U.S. tried to buy Mexican territory, Mexico would not sell.
For them, it was a matter of national honor, not just pride, to maintain the integrity of all of the territory they had inherited from Spain.
Now Mexico worried that what the United States couldn't buy, it would take.
The haughtiness of these Republicans does not permit them to look on us as equals, but as inferiors. In my opinion, their conceit extends itself so far as to believe that their capital will be the capital of all the Americas. José Manuel Sosaya, first Mexican minister to the United States.
Two republics, bound by geography, yet separated by different histories and cultures. Few doubted that a showdown was approaching.